Okay, so what if I told you that you could actually achieve financial independence by 2026? Yeah, I know it sounds like a huge stretch, right? But today, we're going to break down a blueprint that lays out 7 very specific paths to make that a potential reality. Let's dive in. So let's just get right to it. Is this actually possible in just a couple of years? It's a really bold claim for sure. But, the strategy we're about to unpack is designed specifically for young, ambitious people who are ready to build something significant and do it fast. And look, to make this goal tangible, we're not talking about some vague dream. We're talking about a very specific, concrete target. That number is $10,000 in profit every single month. That's the number that takes a side hustle and turns it into a genuinely life-changing business. So what we're looking at here isn't just some random list of cool ideas. Think of it as a strategic guide, a blueprint. The whole point is to focus on proven models that other people have already used to hit that $10,000 mark and, honestly, go way beyond it. All right, so here's our game plan for today. First, we'll get into the mindset behind the whole $10,000 a month challenge. Then, we'll unpack this core idea called the success pattern principle. After that, we'll get to the good stuff, the 7 specific paths to profit. And finally, we'll talk about what comes next, building actual long-term wealth. Okay, let's kick things off with section 1. Before we even get to the what, we got to talk about the why and the how. It's all about setting this ambitious goal because how you frame it really changes everything. And this right here, this is the key mindset shift. We are not talking about earning a little extra cash for pizza on the weekend. The goal here is to build a scalable venture. Each path we're going to look at is a potential high-income business with a very clear, very ambitious target. Now for our second section. This is where we get into the core strategy behind all of this. See, it's not just about what you do, but how you approach it. This is all about working smarter, not just harder. So what in the world is a proven pattern of success? Well, it's pretty simple. It's a business model that already has a track record. It's a path that other people have already walked down and found incredible success on. The whole idea here is built on real-life stories of people who turned these exact patterns into serious money. This quote pretty much sums up the entire philosophy. I mean, think about it. Why would you start from scratch trying to invent something totally new and risky when you can just follow a path that's already proven to work? The key is to find what's working and then figure out how to apply that model for yourself. It's all about leveraging what's proven. And that brings us to the main event, the core of this whole explainer, the 7 paths themselves. These are the specific, lucrative ventures that totally fit that proven pattern model we were just talking about. All right, first up on the list is niche eBay reselling. Now, this is way more than just selling random junk from your closet. We're talking about finding a specific in-demand niche. Things like vintage camera lenses, rare sneakers, or specialized car parts, and becoming the absolute go-to source for it. Okay, let's get real about what this path looks like. The startup cost is low, which is awesome, right? A huge plus. But take a closer look. The effort to 10K is rated high. This model takes a ton of hustle. You've got to be out there sourcing products, listing them perfectly, packing, shipping, but the barrier to entry is just incredibly low. Let's move on to path number 2, brand deal flipping. I want you to think of yourself as a kind of matchmaker for the creator economy. You find creators and influencers, then you connect them with brands who are looking for partnerships, and boom, you take a commission for making the deal happen. You're the middleman, creating value for absolutely everyone involved. And just check out these metrics. The startup cost is rated very low. You can literally start this business with a laptop and an email account. Seriously. The effort to scale is medium, which makes this a super accessible path, especially if you're good at networking and sales. Path number 3 is a skill-based service that is absolutely exploding right now, video editing. And why is that? Well, think about it. Every single brand, every creator, every company now has to be its own little media studio just to get noticed online. And that means talented editors are in ridiculously high demand. Now, here we see a different kind of trade-off. See that high rating for the learning curve? Becoming a really great editor takes time and practice. But here's the flip side. Once you have that skill, the startup cost is low, and the path to 10 grand a month is pretty direct. You just need a few solid, high-paying clients. Next up, we've got a modern twist on a classic online business model, branded dropshipping. The key word here is branded. This isn't about selling generic, cheap-looking stuff from some random supplier. Nope. This is about finding a great product and then building a real, trustworthy brand around it. Why? Because a strong brand builds loyalty and lets you charge a higher price. It's a total game changer. And yeah, as you can see from this chart, this path definitely requires more of a commitment. The startup cost is medium because you'll need to invest in marketing, and both the learning curve and the effort required are high. This is a real business, not some get-rich-quick thing, but the potential is absolutely massive. So we've just covered 4 of the 7 paths in detail. The other 3 mentioned in the source material are ghostwriting for influencers, creating AI-powered newsletters, and becoming a modern middleman in a really specific market. The thing is, all 7 of these paths share the same DNA. They're based on real success stories, and they've all taken modest beginnings and turned them into 6-figure incomes. The big takeaway here is that there's no single best path. The key is to find the one that actually fits your skills, your interests, and your resources. And that brings us to our final and maybe most crucial section. Because you know what? Earning that first $10,000 in a single month is an amazing milestone, but it's not the end of the journey. It's really just the beginning of building true, sustainable wealth. And that's the whole point right there. The business you build is the engine. It's the thing that generates the cash. But real financial independence, that comes from what you do with that cash next. Your business is the vehicle. It's not the final destination. So, according to the source material, there are 2 essential pillars for turning that profit into long-term wealth. First, strategic investing. Making your money work for you so you don't always have to. And second, content creation. Building an audience and a personal brand that becomes a super valuable asset all on its own. So, we end right where we started. We've walked through the mindset, the core strategy, and 7 proven paths to get you there. The blueprint